Before we kick off today, I'd like to take just a moment to send out some love to longtime friend of the show and longer-time friend of the Mr. Justin Carpenter, for my cool new YouTube banner. Thank you so much, Justin. I absolutely love it. So, Alone in the Dark 2, Infogrames, 1993. I touched on this in my discussion of the previous game, but after Alone in the Dark, Frédéric Reynal wanted to go bigger and better for the sequel, while Infogrames CEO Bruno Bonnell basically wanted the quickest, dirtiest, and cheapest follow-up imaginable. This led to Reynal's departure from Infogrames, and Bonnell producing Alone 2 himself. The result is something very strange. It's certainly not Lovecraftian. In fact, it really isn't much of a horror game at all, being more of a rip-roaring action-adventure with some supernatural themes and elements. Due to this departure, and an unfortunate overemphasis on combat and gunplay, it was not especially well received, and personally, I consider it a failure as a sequel. However, taken on its own merits, I find it to have a pretty engaging story, a neat rogues gallery, and a pretty good soundtrack, making it perhaps worth a run or two. Let us then cut this baby open, dear viewer, see what oozes out, and find out what you think.
December 22nd, 1924.
Stryker's telegram was clear enough. Hell's Kitchen is cursed. Grace Saunders has been kidnapped by One-Eyed Jack. Help me. Stop. I can't stand anybody bothering friends or children. I pressed the .38 against my chest. They would pay for this. Oh, by the way, my name's Carnby. Edward Carnby. Yep, that's right, we're not going to have a choice of protagonist this time. Carnby is the canonical protagonist of Alone in the Dark 1, and he will be the only choice of protagonist for Alone in the Dark 2. And that poor gentleman who failed to infiltrate Hell's Kitchen in the intro there was one Ted Stryker, who is Carnby's mentor, who we've never heard of before. Don't know if Carnby had already struck out on his own as of Alone in the Dark 1 and was just working for himself, or if he was an employee of Ted even at the time, or what exactly the story was. It certainly seemed like he was a one-man operation. But in any case, there will be a couple of other familiar names here. Grace Saunders was the main playable character of Jack in the Dark, if you watched that LP just a bit ago. Also, One-Eyed Jack, we had a toy version of him as the villain of Jack in the Dark. Now we'll have the actual version to contend with. It's going to be mostly new people working on Alone 2, but you do see there that the screenplay is once again written by Hubert Chardot. Also, you've noticed that the graphics have not improved particularly. However, while the 3D models are about the same, one thing that they've added a lot more of in Alone in the Dark 2 is animations in the 2D backgrounds. Flickering lights, things like that. So that's one improvement to the engine at least. Or at least something they did more of, even if it's not an actual technical change to the engine. And now we finally have the option to begin a new game or resume a saved game. Being as we are starting from the beginning, of course, you can guess what we're probably going to do here. And I am not especially looking forward to it, to be honest. The beginning of Alone in the Dark 2... Oh, we're gonna loop, okay. No, we don't want to loop. Excuse me, game. Well, I'll explain what I was going to say in a moment. Let's go ahead and watch the secondary part of the intro.
2 days later.
This, by the way, is going to be the CD-ROM version, so we will have voiceovers as appropriate. Looks like Salesman Carnby wasn't successful in unloading any of his fine brushes. Well, he'll just leave a sample behind. That's a spicy product sample. So, immediately we're going to have to deal with the guard who was knocked out by our little explosive surprise. Beating him to death isn't especially difficult, but I'm clumsier at this game than I used to be, and we're going to have to do a lot of health conservation in the early part of the game, so let's not take chances. We do start out with 6 shots of a revolver, so I'm going to go ahead and use them. Well, a few of them anyway. Controls, by the way, are pretty much identical to what we're used to. Three shots, and that's peculiar. People don't normally bleed green, do they? They don't tend to have green complexions either, or red eyes, or sink into the ground when they die. So it's already clear something's not quite normal here. But we get a Thompson to start out with. That's a good start. And a loading clip. Ooh. And Dr. Carnby's Happy Juice makes its return. We start out with an impressive 50 health this time, but as usual, there's no reason to conserve this stuff, so let's go ahead and have a little drinky poo. This time it's even got a C on it. For Carnby, presumably. Even though we just got it off a dead thug, so that doesn't actually make sense. Never mind. Well, we've still got 3 shots in the revolver. The Tommy gun's got 10 shots in it, but we're probably going to need more than that. In fact, I guarantee we are. So let's go ahead and pop the loading clip in right from the start. 60 health, 30 shots, looks good to me. And I'm going to be saving very frequently in the early game. Reason being, as I was saying, I really don't like the beginning of Alone in the Dark 2. In fact, I'd be hard-pressed to say any game that does a better job of putting its worst foot forward. We're going to have about a dozen dudes to kill, and they're all going to be dudes with guns, And as you might guess from the rifle in the original game and its complete lack of aiming assistance, gunplay in this doesn't work all that well. So yeah, this part kinda sucks, and I'll be glad to have it behind me as soon as possible, but getting stun-locked by bullets is a major problem, and yeah, I'm going to be saving often. I'm also going to be referring to my notes often, so please excuse me if there are any jump cuts. Well, I guess I can demonstrate the fight real quick. Fighting works more or less the same. You hold down the space button, left and right for punches. Our kick is now this kinda cool-looking but very slow sidekick. Too slow to be useful, really, so punches are generally better now. And up is a new headbutt, which doesn't have much range, but at least it's reasonably quick. Alright then, Tommy gun. We're gonna have 2 guards right away as soon as we step into the forward screen. So things are going to be a little bit hairballish right away. But we can take our time approaching at least. Enemies don't come after you in the hedge maze here until you activate them, so at least there's that. Okay, let's see if we can hit this guy. No, that sure wasn't it. We'll let him approach a little more. Okay, already off to a bad start. Already took a hit. I really need to conserve my health here, so we're going to take it very cautiously. At least that makes the music reset. And we can run just as we could before. It's still a little tricky to get the timing right. Okay, there's a hit. Now, second guy's gonna come out. And we'll have to deal with him in much the same way. Okay, 2 hits isn't that bad. Or was that 3 hits? And I'm willing to take it. And these guys don't drop anything, so we don't actually have to worry about that. Make sure I keep my Tommy gun out. We also have to be careful about ammo, although we will get some refills. Now then, you could probably see some movement up ahead. Yeah, there are dudes on the left and right, and if we try to make a direct assault on the front door, they're going to catch us, and they're going to fill us full of holes, and we can't have that. So we are once again going to exhibit Carnby's incredible strength that pushed the boulder aside with no problem in the first game, and we're going to shove aside this big-ass piece of statuary. And then, of course, we're going to want to have our Tommy gun at the ready once again. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're being watched. Whoever could it be? Now, as soon as we step around the corner here, we're going to have another dude coming as well. I do believe. Not sure which direction he's going to come from, so I'm going to save once again.
Morning, sir.
And there's one of the few things I do love about the beginning of this game. Shit. Slightly off to the left.
Hi, guy.
And he's still got a shot on me. Damn it. You're probably starting to see why I don't care for the introductory stretch of Alone in the Dark 2 especially. But hey, we did get a photo. Oh, I think it's some kind of villainous family picture. Isn't that sweet? Anyway, as I was saying, there is one thing I love about the introductory segments of Alone in the Dark 2, and that's "Morning, sir," and "Hi, guy." There are three things people can possibly say when they spot you, those being "Morning, sir," "Hi, guy," and "Hey, you." And I can take or leave "Hey, you," but "Hi, guy" and "Morning, sir" are legendary tier. Anywho, so let me take one more look at that photo real quick. That's some statue in the background, pointing straight ahead, all confident-like. Let's go ahead and make another save. Yes, I will be doing it this often. Not third god, we want third down. Anywho, so we're taking the central corridor according to my notes. And the branch on the left side of the screen, and there's going to be a Thompson guy up ahead. Thompson guys are a little bit more dangerous than shotgun guys, I generally find, because they can stun lock you a little better, but both suck, really.
Morning, sir.
Morning to you. Okay, got him away clean. Ah, more lovely bullets for our fine weapon, and health. We can definitely use both. 5 shots. Maybe we don't need a reload quite yet, or maybe we should. One thing I'm definitely going to do is have my drink. Now then. 5 shots. Yeah, I think I better put the reload in. Better safe than sorry. See, with those save game titles, we can even keep track of how many people we've killed. Okay, there's going to be a Thompson guy. No, that's the one we already killed, okay. As usual, I'm not especially good at following my own notes. So right here we have a rope, which we will surely be needing. And some kind of giant playing card. Diamond card on the ground. Stepping on it doesn't seem to have any function, but maybe it's something we'll have to keep in mind for a future reference. Now, according to my notes, there's going to be a shotgunner ahead, now when we go down this central corridor. So, save early, save often once again. I'm just taking my time, do bear with me. And listen to the lovely music. I do like this game's soundtrack quite a bit. Okay, we're gonna have a dude come out down the central corridor where there will be a shotgunner, and then when we go toward the bottom there will be a machine gunner on the same screen. So one dude at a time.
Hey, you.
Oh, there's our first Hey You. Oh, he's fast. Well, fast enough to get a few shots into me. But, you know, taking damage, it's something that's just gonna happen. Generally speaking, I mean, we can somehow avoid damage if we're very, very careful and very, very judicious about reloading our saves, but I'm going to let myself take some hits so we're not here all day. But I am going to keep up those saves, you best believe. And now, there is going to be a machine gunner on the same screen toward the bottom who has something we want. So I will approach with great caution.
Hey, you.
Hey, you. Is Is he dead? I think that got him. Marvelous. And our first tome. How about that? Not sure which way I'm going yet, so we're just going to save and... Well, actually, let's go ahead and read that book, and then I'll save again.
Crew muster for the three-master Flying Dutchman. Turn to freebooting December 25 of the year of our Lord 1724.
I believe the voiceover artist for the crew muster here is the same guy who voiced the Civil War guy who was drugged by Pickford in Alone in the Dark 1. He does a really good pirate voice. I really, really like his work in this game.
None may know the name Jeremiah Johnson Tecker, but all fear Shorty Leg, born in Cork. He was 14 years old when he freed himself from the shark's manacles, turned 2 cannons loaded with grape shot at the captain's cabin, and fired. The recoil whipped off one of his legs. In 1717, he was found and brought aboard the Jolly Roger by One-Eyed Jack, after drifting for 2 weeks on a makeshift raft.
You know, back in the day, I always assumed the shark was a person who had put Shorty Leg into manacles, but these days I think it's probably the name of a ship. Also, in 1717, he was brought aboard the Jolly Roger by One-Eyed Jack. So, Jack's been around for a while. Another sign, I suppose, that something isn't entirely normal here.
Using a steel cooking pot in the sun's rays, he had taken the salt from the seawater, thus having water to drink. Fish he did knock on the head with his peg leg. Thereafter, it became his weapon of choice. Taken on as ship's surgeon.
I like the way the text there says he knocked the fish on the head, whereas the voiceover says, fish he did knock on the head. Very nice touch, a little more piratical, I would say. And, ship's surgeon, huh? Accomplished guy, this Shorty Leg. Although I have to say, a peg leg sounds like kind of a shitty weapon unless you have one hell of a kick. Well, no business of mine, I suppose. Was that 6? I think that's 6. Alright, let me check my notes and see where we're going next. So, we got the book. Okay. We keep going down and we're going to get a grapple, huh? Spoiler alert. Also, I can probably put that book away. We can't just yeet random objects in this game the way that we could in Alone in the Dark 1, but then, that never really worked all that well anyway. Still, I'll miss it. Oh, there's no room. Okay, sorry Carnby. We'll fix that. There we go. Okay, so that grapple, as soon as we pick that up, 2 dudes are going to activate, and we'll have to deal with them pretty quickly. So let me check my notes and see where they're coming from and how I have to deal with them. Okay, so we get the grapple, we run forward around the bend, a dude will be coming from the left path. Run forward, around bend, a dude will be coming from the left path.
Hi, guys.
Hey, you.
Okay, so from here, I guess, right? And then another dude will be coming down the middle. Shit, I'm hitting the wall. Ah. Okay, so that's one. Oh shit, I'm out of gun. Hopefully we can finish this guy off with the revolver. Okay, that wasn't enough. That's not good. Let's see. How's our situation? Hang on, checking my notes. Fortunately, this guy seems to have very poor aim. But he fires so fast that I'm stun-locked to death. Okay, so this has all gone very wrong. That's the way it goes in this game. When did I last... I've gotten myself a bit lost by not keeping... Okay, so here we are at the grapple. Good. I am going to have to be very careful with my ammo in the next two encounters.
Morning, sir.
Oh, double morning, sir. I feel quite honored. We'll go out a little bit more so I don't hit the wall. Good. That went well. Good. And we didn't run out of ammo. Only 2 shots left, but I think we will be getting a refill sooner than later. Okay, no goodies from these guys, but that's okay. Because now we're going to go back, and we're going to take a look at these cards, these giant cards laid out on the ground. 4 of them, huh? Let's see, we've got heart, spade, diamond, and club. The one we saw earlier on the ground was a diamond, right? So maybe we'd better not step on that one. Oh. Shocked to death and dumped in the ocean. Not a fine end for Mr. Edward Carnby. Okay, so not stepping on the diamond card apparently is a very bad idea, so maybe we should step on the diamond card. Let me put the gun away for the moment, though. Yikes. Well, all of a sudden we're underground. Let's start with an exploration off to Mr. Carnby's left. Hey, who's the drunken pirate-y looking dude? Well, you know, as strange as it is to have people fall and sink into the ground when we shoot them to death, headbutting people and having them immediately go up in smoke doesn't seem quite normal either. Thompson's maybe a little bit hefty for close confines like this, so let's keep our revolver at the handy. Seemed like we just saw some sort of drunken pirate-looking dude. Notice that we don't have an open and search command, only push. So it doesn't seem like we can get this chest open, pirate treasure or whatever it might be. So let's try giving it a little shove, since it is obviously polygonal and meant to move. A metallic jack of diamonds. We do have a theme here, don't we? And an altar suddenly beginning to appear. A torn notebook? And some kind of tentacle monster. Now, punching out the tentacle monster isn't too hard, it'll go down in a single hit, but there is a possibility that we'll take damage in the process, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a bullet in it to be on the safe side. Normally that works. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Punching it is. Okay, well, we're out of revolver bullets, but we probably weren't going to make much use of those anyway. Let's just take this sword and pretend all that shooting holes in it never happened. I could have sworn that worked. Either I was aiming wrong or my memory is faulty. Either way, I do beg your pardon, Interblops. The important thing is we've got an altar here. And what we want to do, I believe, is sacrifice our new acquisition. No, not like that. Is it use, maybe? There we go. The trapdoor is open. And that's what we wanted. So now we can go up the other way. But there does appear to be something for us at the base of the ladder there. Could that be what I hope it is? You bet it is. Well, before we go upstairs, we'll steady our nerves with a stiff drink. We have, after all, taken a bit of damage along the way. Ah, 54. My favorite studio. Okay. So I am just about out of Thompson ammo, which is a bit concerning because my notes say we do have a dude ahead. After that dude we'll get ammo, but we may have to try and get a few punches in to bring him down once and for all. If we can kill him in 2 shots, absolutely brilliant. If not, oh dearie me. Actually, it appears we might have 2 dudes ahead, which is a little bit worrying. Also, I can't help but notice, we've come out where we found that diamond card on the ground before. So let's see here. We're going to be going down the central corridor, and according to my notes, looking out for a shotgunner. I am concerned. Oh, maybe it's a dude I already killed. My notes here are a little bit muddled. So we're going up at the 4-way, possibly another shotgunner. Gonna keep those saves updated. Oh, is it a dude I already killed? If I've already killed all these people, I'm going to be very happy. But somehow I don't think I'm going to be quite that lucky. Oh, hey rat. Hang on, checking my notes again. Aha! We want this dead end. And you will see in a moment why we want this dead end. Carnby, would you kindly run? He doesn't want to run. Loading clip. Hallelujah. I immediately feel a little better about further encounters. That gives us how many shots? 30 shots, but I see in this save I didn't get rid of Shorty Legs, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, by the way, I could read the torn notebook now, but of course I'd only be able to read a fragment of the notes. We'll be able to put the whole thing together later, so I'm going to wait for then. Anything else I can get rid of? No. Nope, we're solid. Actually, I just saved over the wrong slot, but that's okay. Let me see here. Now that I've got the ammo from the dead end. Checkity check, check, check. Now go up through hard to see S-bend. The hell does that mean? Ah, there we go. Finally got my run going. Go up through hard to see S-bend. Not real confident in my notes right now, so do bear with me. Clearly that's not the way. Can I go over here? Nope, that is not going to help me in the least. See, even when I have notes, even when I have something of a text map, I really hate mazes. There it is. There's the hard to see S-bend. It looks like a blank wall if you're looking at it straight ahead, but if you get close, you can see there's this little blind curve here. Very sneaky. Okay, my notes now say, don't run into the distance, take fork to right, beat a dude.
Morning, sir.
Oh, there's a morning, sir. Where are you at? That went wrong. So I was a little too close to the wall there.
Hi, guy.
Hi, guy. Okay, that could have gone worse. How's my shots? Not too terrible. Oh, is that booze? That's booze. "64, my favorite bit generation." Alright, that's probably not my favorite bit generation, but had to make the quip. Alrighty, so now what do we do? Okay, it looks like we already are most of the way through the hedge maze. We only have 2 more fights to go, and they're somewhat unusual fights. One of them will hopefully not be too big of a deal. The timing for the run feels a little different. Ah, yes, this is what I was expecting. The branches. The branches are a little tricky to deal with because gunshots don't do anything to them. This is what we need that sword for. Now, take a quick look at the moveset here. Actually, let me get a little out of the way, so I don't run myself into the branches while checking the moveset. We have a fairly ordinary swing in that sort. From the right. We have an advancing swing if we swing from the left. If I press down, we have a vertical swing, and if I press up, we have a forward lunge. Actually, a rather more versatile and useful moveset than the swords in the first game. So full marks for that, Infograms. Now, let's see if I can do this without getting hurt. Backing up and lunging, I have found to generally be pretty effective here. Okay, that's one hit. Backed up a little too far there. Being very careful because getting hit here is pretty easy and we don't want to take unnecessary damage. We never want to take unnecessary damage, but it's especially dumb here since we're not even dealing with guns. Doing okay so far. Doing okay. Doing some misses, but we're not taking hits. Familiar hit sound effect that we haven't heard in a while too, isn't it? And that's the end of the saber, but that's okay, we won't be needing it again. Now, up ahead, you see a little something peeking out from around the corner there. What we can barely see the hint of is one Jeremiah Johnson Tecker, aka the feared Shorty Leg, and he is actually quite dangerous. He's gonna sort of be our boss for the hedge maze, and that peg leg of his weapon of choice, he's not gonna use it for kicks, he's got a gun in it. And he can actually lift that leg and fire, which sounds like he's taking a piss, but no, he can lift that leg and fire really quickly. So what we're gonna try and do is get our Thompson out, we're gonna run past him around a corner, and then we're gonna try to shoot him from around the corner. This will either go just fine or it'll go extremely badly, because once Shorty Leg starts shooting you, it's kinda hard to get him to stop. So we'll get our Thompson at the ready. Step out a little bit. And we are most definitely going to drop a save. That is one thing I really like about this game. Pretty much every unique enemy that has any kind of personality, you'll get a book talking about his background. Shorty will only be the first of those.
Morning, sir.
Oh, he's getting them off on me. We can probably do better than that. I got a little screwed up by the camera there.
Hi, guy.
And yes, he gets the same generic hi guys and morning sirs as anybody else. Good walking animation on him. Every time we shoot him, it does knock him back a little, which is very helpful for us. And with that, Shorty Leg roasts in hell. And you can see what I mean about how that fight is likely to go either really well or really horribly. And for defeating Shorty Leg, we get what? A page from a newspaper. But we can't read it at this time. Well, let's just leave it alone for now then. Now, this statue probably looks familiar, right? It's that one we saw in the photograph. Let me take another look at that photo. Yep, there it is, boldly pointing the way forward. Oh, and there's Shorty off to the left, next to that chef-looking guy. But wait a minute. When we take a look at the statue here, you can see it's pointing skyward. It's not supposed to be doing that. Well, we're just going to have to fix that, aren't we? Let's start by combining our hook and our rope. And now that we have a hook and a rope, nice lasso in there, Carnby. Looks like we've got some sort of underground passage. Well, nothing we can do now but continue our explorations. Drat, I lost my weapons. Well, that's the bad news. The good news is, we're done with the hedge maze, thank God. And that, density of gunplay is not going to be happening for us again anytime soon. In fact, quite that density I don't believe ever happens again. Also, that's really kind of a neat waterfall feature over there on the right. Now, first of all, there's a rather hard-to-see item here that we will not want to miss. And that is a nickel. It has been established that Carnby tends to be pretty broke. Even a nickel can come in handy every now and then. Look at all these saves I've made already. That's how much I hate the hedge maze. It didn't go super badly this time, but you could probably see why it can be extremely infuriating if it doesn't go so well. And I got really, really in trouble on ammo there for a while, too. What else? Oh, yes. There's a console version of this game for the PlayStation and Saturn, which inserted an FMV there when you fall down the ladder. See, here you could see you just fall down the ladder a short distance, thud, you lose your weapons, and that's it. Now, in the PlayStation and Saturn version, they inserted a really silly FMV there. You fall down the ladder, you fall down this long, twisting, cluttered pathway that would definitely kill Carnby. Then you fall into an underground river, you swim around for a while past a naval mine, then you fall down another long, twisting, cluttered pathway that would definitely kill Carnby, and then you finally land in this spot. It's absolutely absurd. I'll see if I can't get a clip of it for an omake later. For now, there's something else we need on this bridge, which is not to fall off. That's what we want, is a crank. Do have to be a little careful here. This is a narrow bridge. And a paper bag. Pity, no lunch inside. Still, you never know what'll come in handy. Ted? Ted, no! It's Stryker. They killed him. I'll make them pay for that. Now, there's something we can do here that the game advises against. I'm not actually sure whether it has any negative effects on gameplay, so let me drop a save. If we push here, we can give Ted's body a little shove. And Carnby says maybe I shouldn't do that. If we keep pushing... Ted will fall off, and we'll see, what a fall! Was that a smart idea? And I truly don't know, again, whether that has any effect or not. For all I know, I could have just activated an irrevocable super hard mode. I'm going to leave well enough alone and not shove Ted off the platform into the water there. This raises a question. Would it be more appropriate to leave his body here to skeletonize slowly, or to give him a watery grave? What is the dead body etiquette here? I honestly don't know. Anyway, let's take this torn notebook and a pipe cleaner. Thanks, Ted. Left us a few souvenirs. A gentleman even on the way out. But we now have a torn notebook, and a torn notebook, so we can reassemble them. Okay, the notebook is all in one piece.
Carnby, if you read this, it means I am dead. The Saunders child was kidnapped by One-Eyed Jack, despite what the newspaper claimed. That man is a monster, obsessed with gambling and death. Hell's Kitchen is full of secret passages. I am sure that for one of them, the solution is in the cards. Remember our poker games. I can also tell you that the gang makes whiskey in the cellar and transports it by boat at high tide from a cave.
So they're pirates and bootleggers, huh? Ancient pirates turned to bootlegging in the modern times. Interesting. Also, solution in the cards, huh? We certainly do have a card motif going on around Hell's Kitchen. Well, our buddy Ted does say that One-Eyed Jack is obsessed with gambling. And death, can't forget death.
Carnby, you must rid the world of that filth and save the girl, if you can. It is time for the slave to become stronger than the master.
Oh, Ted, is that what you thought of me as your slave? No wonder you were asking me to go get your coffee all the time. Ah well, this is no time to be bitter. We have got a closed door to get through, and by closed they mean locked. Well, we just had a little bit of detective chatter. When you're a detective, what do you do about a locked door? Well, you slide a newspaper underneath. Poke something into the lock. Let the key fall onto the paper. Bring that back under. And shake your head about what a cliché you've become. Also, that wasn't a piece of newspaper after all. It was Music Man's Pact? What could that be about?
By this pact signed by me, Sean O'Leary, called Music Man, and Elizabeth Jarrett, arm of the evil powers, I'm granted immortality. This pact is renewable every 100 years. In return, I swear fidelity and obedience to my masters. Should this document be destroyed in my presence, or if I come to die, the galleon will shelter me for 2 days.
Oh, so it's an immortality contract. Also, Elizabeth Jarrett, arm of the evil powers. What a job title.
Signed off the coast of Haiti on the 25th of December in the year of 1724.
1724. Another thing that's been around for a while. Well, the whole immortality thing might explain all that. Paper's in remarkably good condition in any case. Oh, all these barrels. Must be where they're keeping their bootleg whiskey. Storing it in crates, too, which would explain all of those, I suppose. Got a guy staring out a door there. A familiar-looking door, too, if we go back to a former life. Seems like he's listening to the radio, though, and hasn't really noticed us yet. Let's try a little experiment. Since he hasn't heard us yet, just standing there listening to the radio, let's find out what this lever does. Oh yeah, that's where I recognize that door. Perhaps another approach is in order. This time let's not stand quite off to the right where that barrel is immediately going to hit us. And now, maybe we can use it to our advantage if we can get his attention and make him walk in front of that door. Sometimes I'd like to smell my lunch. No, we don't want to hit him with the bag.
Morning, sir.
Now, if I quickly push the lever, the timing should be just about right. I still managed to hit myself. Good job, Carnby. Oh, I shouldn't blame Carnby. Good job, me. Maybe if we stand a little bit off to the left and make sure we don't get hit. I mean, we could just beat the dude to death, but let's do this the way the game intends.
Morning, sir.
Good morning to you. God damn! I've never had this much trouble with this, I would like to note. Now, how about if I get all the way off to the side of it? Yeah, we blow up the bag. We pop the bag.
Hey, you.
We hope he goes to the right side. Okay, he does. We push. We completely miss. Oh my god! Okay, we know we've got a safe place to stand now. This time I'm gonna push the thing a little quicker. I was right in my understanding that you have to do it pretty much immediately. So there's that at least.
Hi, guy.
Okay, now push. Oh my god! It's recording luck, folks, but at least you get to see me make a fool of myself.
Hi, guy.
We'll let him stand up. And now we push. There we go. Normally at this point Carnby will say what a fall, but for some reason the what a fall text didn't appear that I saw. Ah well. I'm certainly not going to reload again. A book, booze, and a gun. This guy was well set for a long guard post. First of all, though, let's see what we've got over here. A hole in the clock. Well, we did happen to conveniently pick up a crank not too long ago. So we get to see Carnby's withered Mr. Burns' hands turn the crank. And move aside some crates. Now, if that doesn't deserve a drink, I don't know what does. $74. We are in very good shape, finally. Also, looks like there's another book here. I think we've probably reached a good point to leave off, but let's do a little light reading before we call it a night.
Life and times of the freebooters and buccaneers. My iron fist will lead you till it freezes in hell. Cheers rang out at this promise. Hanging by the foot from a spar, the one-armed man begged for mercy. One-eyed Jack looked up at him with his good eye and said, "May the sun cure your flesh and tan your stinking hide, you poxy cur." Black Hat stood ready. The shark's fin glided close by. "No, not that!" yelped the one-armed sea dog. Black Hat threw his hat and it cut the rope. The one-armed man did not swim long.
Wow, One-Eyed Jack sounds like a pretty rough boss. Also, Black Hat threw his hat and it cut the rope. What is he, Oddjob?
"Hurrah for the captain!" roared the shipmates. "Caramba, that seems a little harsh," muttered Luis. The new cook, T-Bone, glared. "Maybe you want to swim too, eh?" he growled. "No, senor, I beg you. I say nothing." "Then shut your gob and do as you're told. 3 knocks if you want to enter the captain's cabin. And forget One Arm. His cooking was only fit for swine."
Well, sounds like a pretty good career moment for Mr. T-Bone there. Also, 3 knocks if you want to enter the captain's cabin. That sounds like a gameplay hint, but it's not as far as I know. I can't really think of any time that ever becomes relevant. Maybe a vestigial remnant of a cut puzzle. Oops. We've got another book.
Crew muster for the three-master Flying Dutchman. Turned to freebooting December 25 of the year of our Lord 1724.
Ooh, another crew muster. Who do we get to learn about this time?
My music is a requiem. Sean O'Leary from Dublin dreamed of becoming a harpsichordist, but was hounded from the country after throwing 3 guests through a window for having suggested that his Vivaldi was perhaps slightly fast. He joined the 3rd Highlanders and lost a hand at the siege of Gibraltar. He deserted and studied the accordion under Sancho Fernandez, the mad armorer. Hiding out in the Leeward Islands, he did many lowly jobs.
A couple things to look at here. First of all, Sean O'Leary. That's a name we heard before. That's Music Man. We have his immortality pact. Also, haunted from the country after throwing 3 guests through a window for having suggested that his Vivaldi was perhaps slightly fast. Little bit of a hothead, that Sean. Also, this is something I touched on in Jack in the Dark, but it is worth noting that almost all of the named villains in Alone in the Dark 2 are Irish. We have Sean from Dublin here, and we recently did away with Mr. Tecker from Cork. Also, he studied the accordion under Sancho Fernandez, the mad armorer. I can't even say that without a huge grin on my face.
He was almost lynched during the Red Night and sought refuge with One-Eyed Jack. He became one of his lieutenants after the Chow Bang Massacre. October 1712. Musician.
Well, I suppose for a harpsichordist and player of the accordion with the name of Music Man, musician is an appropriate post for him to have on the ship. Well, once again, we don't need to hang on to those books, so let me put aside Music Man. And Life and Times of the Freebooters, which is a magnificent title. But I think we'll hold on to that immortality pact. It did say something about the document being destroyed in Music Man's presence, and if our experience with Shorty Leg is anything to indicate, then we're probably going to have a little meeting with Music Man not too far into the future. For now, though, yeah, I think we'll call it a day. Got through the hedge maze with most of my skin intact and didn't make myself look too bad in the process. Of course, I made up for that, making myself look terrible trying to get that guy knocked out the window, but what can you do? All in all, I'll say it was a reasonably okay first episode considering how things could have gone. As ever, my friends, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've been enjoying the journey so far. Next time on I Played a Thing, Alone in the Dark 2, we will continue our invasion of Hell's Kitchen and move on into this newly uncovered secret passage. Until then, this is signing off. Today's Life and Times of the Freebooters have been brought to you by Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Mechasaurus, DG Jono, Doug Russell, Dodecalope, Jarogue, Martin Challenmakers, Mayo the Hedgefox, Hildegard Argomach, IGV, Jazel, Joseph Hall, Dan Larson, K. Ivan Rupert, Tiny Shopkeeper, Charlie Dunst, Kikoskia, Kobo4231, Yuka Takeuchi Fan, Chaotic Narrative, Mystery Accent, Lakota, Mei Yanling, Renaman, Fate Everywhere, TJA, Sparkaziah Lefzer, Super Pervert 69, Zero, Bueller 13, Pixel Goat, and other fish-kicking patrons. My enormous thanks to each and every one of you for helping to keep the lights on here at I Played a Thing, and I'd also like to thank all commenters, subscribers, and everyone in Viewerland for making things more lively and a lot more fun. Be well, friends, stay safe, and I'll see you soon for more sexy low-poly adventures. Hello out there, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a good time, and I've been glad to have you. If you enjoyed this video, new subscribers always brighten my day, and if you really dig my stuff and would like to support me on Patreon, I shall be very grateful indeed. You're also invited to go with the stream every Friday at twitch.tv/unplayedathing. Thank you again, and have a good one.